So good evening and welcome to our small group stream. My name is Jeff and I'm one of the assistant pastors here at Birmingham Vineyard. It's great to have you joining me. Particularly welcome to you if you are joining for the first time or you're new to Birmingham Vineyard. It's great to have you with me. So I'm just going to chat a little bit about Sunday's talk and a few thoughts I had, and hopefully you'll find that interesting and helpful in your midweek groups as you meet online to chat and pray with one another. So, Sunday, Adam Pipe was talking about the seventh beatitude, which is, "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called children of God." And he had 3 points. One was powerful peace, the second was the Prince of Peace, and the third was practicing peacemaking. And so I don't really want to kind of systematically go through what he was talking about, but there were just a few points and thoughts that I wanted to highlight. And so the first thing I wanted to talk a bit about was prayer. I think Adam really helpfully highlighted that prayer is the place to start when it comes to issues of peacemaking. And so I think that many of us, and definitely those outside of the church, can often feel like prayer is what you do when you don't know what to do, or you just do it in order to kind of pacify yourself so that you feel like you've done something when you've really done nothing. And that is not what prayer is. And actually, prayer is an essential activity. Prayer is doing something, and it is doing something really powerful. So why is prayer powerful? Well, prayer is powerful, firstly, because of who we're praying to. Prayer is powerful because we are talking to the God of the universe, who is able to do more than we could ever ask or imagine, who created everything and so is therefore able, to do it, to do whatever we might ask, to do what needs to be done. But not only is God powerful, but God knows everyone and everything and every situation. So often we can think we know what's best, we know how to solve a problem, and then when we try, the law of unintended consequences kicks in and something goes terribly wrong. Well, the wonderful thing about God is that can't happen. He is so wise and so knowledgeable about each one of us and the universe that he's able to act in such a way that he knows what those unintended consequences might be, and he can, weave those into his plan. So prayer is powerful, firstly, because of who we're praying to, which is God, and secondly, because it changes us. So prayer changes us and it changes situations. It changes situations because of who we're praying to, but also prayer births something in us. When we come to God, and we come to God honestly with our thoughts and our emotions, our feelings and our desires, then we're also opening up ourselves, we're opening our minds and our hearts up to be being shaped by God. And that is a really powerful thing, because often as we come to God, and as we pray and as we open up, he shapes our thoughts and our desires into something more concrete. He's able to steer us into a direction of action that would work out best for us and for those that we long to serve for. Often as we pray, as is often said, we get invited by God to be the answer to our own prayer. So prayer is powerful because of who we're praying for. Prayer is powerful because of who we're praying to, and prayer is also powerful because it shapes us and changes us, and it opens us up to being led by God in the right way. And so, when it comes to this area of peacemaking, let's start with prayer. I think a really important point that he made as well was that peacemaking isn't about being passive. I think we can often see the idea or the thought of being a peacemaker as essentially just being quiet, being passive, being a bit of a doormat, really. And that is clearly not what a peacemaker is about. Adam was really clear that peacemaking is an invitation to action. And we've seen this throughout history, that it is possible to be a peacemaker and be active and definitely not be a doormat. But peacemaking is about speaking up. It's about, saying what you see, And we've seen that in history in many times with examples like Martin Luther King or Gandhi or other people who have peacefully stood up for something and ultimately brought about great change and in many cases significant peace. So being a peacemaker is not about being passive. But at the same time, there is an invitation from Jesus that discipleship, following Jesus, is about laying down our own lives. It's about Jesus invites us to come to him and to die to ourselves. That actually he invites us to pick up our cross and to lay aside ourselves and to follow him. And so whilst it's not about being a doormat, it's also not about asserting ourselves. It's also not about demanding our rights, demanding our will, demanding what we want be done. There's a humility that we're invited into in this peacemaking. And the humility is an essential part of this peacemaking. Humility is an essential part of following Jesus and laying down ourselves and our own wants and desires as we seek after God's heart and to pick up his wants and his desires and make them our own. But also humility is an essential part of being a peacemaker in relationships. I'll come to that in a minute. But I think with the sense that I think we all want to be active peacemakers, but it can so often be overwhelming. When we look at all the problems in the world, we can be paralyzed into inactivity because we feel like there's so much and we are just one person. And so Adam was really helpful in pointing out that actually it starts with us and it starts with our own lives and it starts with our own sphere of influence. And that actually peacemaking is about listening, it's about looking, and it's about speaking. And so in our own lives, we want to be those who look around and see and ask God to reveal to us where are we needed to be peacemakers? Where is there injustice? Where is there violence? Where is there a lack of peace? God, give us eyes to see where peacemakers are needed. And secondly, in our relationships, we want to be good listeners. That whenever we encounter injustice, whenever we encounter situations that need a peacemaker, we want to be those who listen first and who ask good questions. Last summer, when Oliver was speaking on Jesus and race, one of the things that he talked about was a compassionate curiosity. That actually, it's important for us to have compassionate hearts that want to know and want to understand, to ask good questions and to listen to people's stories and to ask them how we can help and how we can do things and not just assume and not just rush in. So we want to look, we want to listen, and then we want to speak. And we want to speak up for the things we see in the world. We want to speak up for the things that we see in our areas of influence, in our neighborhoods. And we want to speak up in our relationships. When we see people acting in certain ways that we think aren't helpful, we want to speak up. When we see people saying things that are inappropriate, we want to speak up in love. We want to challenge. We want to be a church where we are discipling each other and where we speak truth in love and where we call one another out and we challenge one another in love. And that actually we all have a soft enough heart and a humble enough heart to receive that and to go to Jesus with it and to ask for help. So, peacemaking starts with prayer. Peacemaking isn't about being a doormat, it's something active. Peacemaking is about listening, looking, and speaking. And let's start with where God has put us. Let's not be overwhelmed and paralyzed by that, but let's start. Let's start where God has put us. So I hope that was helpful and interesting. And my encouragement would really be in your small groups to just spend a significant amount of time praying. And if you haven't already, do head to the website and check out the small group notes, which are in the listen section underneath the talk from this week. And in there is a summary of the talk, some questions and an activity, as well as the Bible verses. So check that out. So also, you can head to the website and connect with us. So if you're new or you are looking for a Christian community where you live, then we would love to connect with you and help you find a midweek online group that you could connect with. So do go online, fill out one of those connect forms. We would love to help you get connected. And otherwise, do join us on Facebook Live for prayer at 1 and 6 during the weekdays. And you can join us on Sundays at 10 a.m., 11:30 a.m. and 5:30 p.m. for church at birminghamvineyard.online.church. God bless. Have a great week.